Pelicans traded for DeJounte Murray, people were shocked it didn't include Brandon Ingram to Atlanta. OMG, I am confused what the Hawks are doing. Yeah, B.I.'s a much better compliment to Trae Young than DeJounte. They're about to pay Trey Murphy, who broke out, which means B.I. loses his starting job. The lineup is DeJounte, C.J. McCollum, Trey Murphy, Zion, and they don't have a center. Oh, so just trade Ingram for a big man. But right now, nobody is interested. Getting Kevin Durant would likely require New Orleans to surrender Brandon Ingram, but league sources say the Pelicans are unwilling to do so. Well, the drop-off is recent. NBA teams were obsessed with Ingram. His obvious comp is a younger KD, but less efficient. He's tall and lanky with shooting touch and ball skills. The Lakers drafted him over Jaylen Brown with the number 2 pick. Young Paul George wanted to be a Laker. He led Indy to back-to-back conference finals and was on the trading block. So the Lakers had the key piece to make such a move. They own the number 2 pick in the 2017 draft, or Brandon Ingram. But they kept the pick and never dealt B.I. Not only did New Orleans give him a max contract in 2020, he was their savior from Zion, is constantly injured, so the Pels turned to Ingram to bail them out. Zion had friction with the front office. B.I. was casually hanging out with his coach and teammates at playoff games. So 2 years ago, Ingram dragged them to the playoffs, winning back-to-back play-in games. Then, against the 1-seed Suns, he was amazing, pushing Phoenix to 6 games. Coach Willie Green said, "I firmly believe, and the rest of us believe, B.I. is one of the best players in the NBA. It is great to see him put that on display and his hard work pay off." Ingram and Zion's chemistry was off, and it was clear they played better with one of them on the court. Then, with 12 games to go, Ingram hurt his knee and was out. So during a close play-in game against the Lakers, Coach Green benched Ingram, and even when Zion pulled his hamstring, Ingram stayed on the bench. Game 1 came down to the final minutes, tied at 90. The Pels got 3 offensive boards in a row, but failed to cash in. They missed all 4 shots, but the worst was a badly missed 3 from B.I. I am talking brick, didn't even touch the rim. On the other end, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander calmly picked apart the defense to win the game. Because of Lou Dort. If one man can shut down the other team's best player, you don't stand a chance. Ingram said, "From Team USA up to this season, it's probably the worst I've been in New Orleans Pelicans uniform. I have got to look in the mirror." The coach moved B.I. to the bench and asked him to back up younger guys like Josh Hart and Austin Reeves at the World Cup. Ingram ended up with 6 points, 3 boards, and 3 assists per game. In FIBA, the defense is rewarded, and in the NBA, the offense is rewarded. FIBA is much more physical. Oh no, that hurts. So if you don't play defense, you can't be a poor man's Kevin Durant. You gotta be Kevin Durant. And ironically, KD's defense is much better than B.I.'s. The Pels can't afford to pay that with Trey Murphy on board, so they can either sign him to a lesser deal, let him walk for nothing next year, or trade him. Like Philly, but they got Paul George. Or the Kings, who got DeMar DeRozan. The perfect swap would be Ingram for Jarrett Allen at center, or the Magic's Wendell Carter Jr., but despite the good fit, there is 0 reported interest. I mean, just look at the sequence in Game 1 against OKC. It felt like the old NBA versus the new. Not that Ingram is old, but he used to be the hot up-and-coming player. Now that's SGA. Just look at the Nuggets. For 2 years in a row, they lost Bruce Brown and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Championship-level role players because they made a contract mistake. Jokic and Murray on a max, but Michael Porter Jr.? That cannot happen. What I think happens is Ingram will be forced to take less than the max. He's the first guy that this is happening to with the new rules. Like a Julius Randle or a Chris Middleton who expect a max contract but don't get the offer. So this will give a much bigger meaning to max contract. I've heard so many people say over the years, how is that guy on a max? Players like Tobias Harris, Jeremy Grant, Michael Porter Jr., Fred VanVleet, or back in the day like Chandler Parsons or Al Horford. Those types of maxes are gone forever. It will now be a huge badge of honor to be a max player, which makes sense. Guys who teams know is a true number 1 or 2. So it will hurt, but could be the best thing for his career. I think a BI, like an Aaron Gordon, he was drafted to Orlando and compared to LeBron because of his football player type body, in a much better role to contribute to a championship because Gordon changed his role, took less money, and now is happy with his basketball life. He went from a guy nobody wanted as a number 1 to a role player every team would love to have. And we're at that exact same turning point in Brandon Ingram's career. Tons of teams are going to tank for this kid. He will go number 1 in the 2025 NBA draft.
Subscribe to my channel.